Well, I came this year because I just wanted to experience new technologies outside of just doing basic assignments that school just has to offer.
Right.
So with the Code Jam, I actually learn new things that I didn't know that I could actually do.
Right.
It's an avenue for us to learn something new.
Right.
I think all of us, we learn new technologies, we learn how to interact with other people. So yeah, that was mainly a learning experience for all of us.
Pretty cool.
And I heard there was prize money involved, so there was that.
And it seemed interesting because I heard about it before,
Right.
and I like the idea of creating something new.
Right.
So it brought interest to me to do that, to enter in this.
Rather than just coding in class in a setting where they just give you a simple problem, it's much more appropriate to be given a real world situation and attempt to solve that problem.
Our lecturer started to talk about Cellulo's Code Jam in class, and after we discussed it and we all realized we had an interest in it, so we decided to enter.
Project is basically a real-time crowd density meter.
So our project is the Smart Meter Smart Receptacle System.
So our project, Smart Light, is basically taking the street lights and converting them into a smart lighting system. Because our residential lights have become smarter, but street lights are essentially the same as they've always been.
So right now we know that there are currently smart meters on the market that allow you in some kind of mobile platform to view how much power your house is consuming. So we thought it would be really cool if we could actually see how much an individual appliance is consuming. And then we was like, it'd be even more cool if we could operate and turn on all of these appliances using the same application.
FST is kind of far from the cafeteria.
Right.
And it's always a tedious walk to get there and see a very long KFC line.
Yes.
So we thought it would be ideal to have an app that would tell you basically how crowded the cafeteria is.
Right.
Well, our aim was to relieve cognitive load, right? And I don't know if, because everyone is busy. We all have busy schedules and we forget the slightest and the smallest thing, right? You ever went to the grocery and with the intent of buying an item, particularly, okay, let's say bread, and then you go in the grocery and you buy everything else, and the one thing that you really went for, which is the bread, you come out without it.
So we have sensors that we would use to capture data about cars passing by. So we'd collect the speed of the cars, how many cars, stuff like that. And the core original idea for the problem was to only have the streetlights on when there are cars around.
We are basically helping you rely on the application. It's not just a normal reminder app. We pushed boundaries and we inculcated the IP cameras into your fridge or your pantry, so you would get a live stream into your fridge on your mobile. You are able to create a list, and then you have location-based reminders that will tell you, hey, don't forget to pick up your stuff. Or you could even send your list to the grocery, and they will prepare it for you and send you a notification saying your order is ready for pickup.
It was quite a good experience. We learned about, working together as a team, managing your time.
Communication is very important.
Trust each other, so we learn how to trust each other more, how much relying on one another really meant.
Documentation helps in understanding other people's code.
I actually do say that I can't do something unless I try to do it.
We basically became very good at, listening to somebody else's ideas or opinions.
Well, for me, how I've grown?
Yes.
I've gotten a new ability to be less nervous and scared to dive into new technologies and try to figure out how they work and get something working.
Right.
Before it was more confusing and you'd be very quick to quit and say, nah, I can't do this to it.
Learn to not give up on something when you're trying, because for me in particular, I was given a task and I spent weeks upon weeks trying to figure out how to get this to work. And I almost reached the point where I was like, okay, I can't do this. It's not possible. And our team leader kept telling me to go do it, and I eventually did it, and it worked after a while.
For this, we've had to do a couple of presentations, and that's something I've always tried to avoid. And I feel like after doing it a couple of times, I'm slowly starting to get better at it.
Right.
But the other parts of it I always enjoy those parts, but that was the one part I don't enjoy. I feel like there's one part I feel like I could consider growth. I'm starting to get better at something I don't enjoy.
For me, because I was working on the crowd detection part, it was working with software like MATLAB and having to get a server, a Windows server. Prepare early. Know what you're supposed to do, so you can actually tell them what you've done and what you need to do still. Right. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
If you're pursuing schoolwork while doing this competition,
yes,
as soon as you see free time, work on it.
Right. You waste the free time.
Yeah.
Depends. Nice. I love it. Nice. Why depends? If you have time, if you have people you could work with. Right. So time, a good crew. Let me ask you. Imagine they weren't here. Did you have a good crew to work with this time?
Careful, I answer that.
Yes. I'll tell them that they should participate in the Talios Co-Jam, but think it through to go in with a plan.
Right.
To make sure that if you're going and you're going to do this, to put enough effort into it and make sure you have the time to do it. Otherwise, other things will fall behind and multiple things will end up not working out.
There's a lot of value to doing it.
Right.
Because you get exposed to so many different new things you don't normally do. The time constraints and the format of it kind of helps you stick to it.
Yes.
But at the same time, even with those values, I would say it depends on who you're doing it with. Because although for me this was enjoyable with the hardships, I don't think it would be anywhere near as enjoyable if we weren't with these people that I'm so accustomed to.
Hear what? At the end of the day, we all running on the same thing. First class, right? So we finish our degree and then what? We all in the same pool. How would you differentiate yourself? Telios is a great platform for that. So guys, if you can, go for it. I mean, we have a really busy schedule. We have like 2 huge assignments in 2 weeks' time. And we're here doing this.
And Telios, it's not like a classroom. You can't just, when you get a tough time or something, just go and ask your lecturer, so how they did this last year?
Right.
You know? This is something where you're kind of on your own. You kind of have to be able to hold your bearings, and if something doesn't work, don't try to just force it. Try to look up what other people have done, maybe on the internet somewhere. Try to get a point of reference and use that to kind of get your footing. Because I think one of the biggest problems that many teams have, well, from what I've heard of my peers who have done Co-Jam before, is that when you reach a serious obstacle and you have a pressure or assignment to do for marks, sometimes the feeling is to just give up and just quit, because they don't think that they have it within them necessarily to find a solution. It'd be like a mountain you're trying to climb, where you're trying to reach the top that you've never reached before, but you know you can't do this assignment, so it's a kind of trade-off like that. So I think you should always try and don't stop trying, like don't give up.
Yeah, you could try. You could try. I mean, no harm in trying. and you learn a lot. So you might think you don't have the time, but you wouldn't know until you try.
I'll tell them yes, and I'll tell them to approach it in a way not like a assignment, but like a life experience, a learning experience. Because for a class assignment, you're doing it for marks, you're just doing it to hand up. But like in Telio School Jam, you're getting to look at the implications of what you're doing.
I would recommend that someone participate in Telio School Jam, because if the worst that can happen is you don't win, you get nothing done. But what you gain from it is things you can't really learn in school.
Right.
You don't really, and it makes since I study computer science, it made it more fun, because this type of thing was more the reason why I study this, rather than in class you're just looking at a screen and you type some code and you see like what looks like a command prompt come up to get your result.
Right.
You actually see, you make things with buttons you could click, and you can make more interactive software, and it's just more fun.
Basically, if someone were to ask me that question, I would tell them they should go for it, but really and truly they have to be for it, because if the passion's not there to do it, they're not gonna finish. So before they even start, the question needs to be asked: do I really want to do this?
The expert developer that you might be when you finish this would be worth it, because the things that you will learn along the way, I'll just reiterate what everybody was saying before, was that you won't learn this in a classroom. So yeah.
Yes.
So that's you finish up this question.
Okay, well, to anyone I would say why not? Why not? Because it truly is an experience. Telios in itself is an experience. It would indeed separate you from the rest. Because if anybody is graduating in your class, come out of the same first class, what is going to separate you? What do you have to show outside of school to make you different, to make you acceptable? There's no special requirement to be an IT coder. There's no gender requirement, nothing like that. So it's really glad to have everyone out here being able to show their expertise with regards to coding, have a understanding, and have a tightness, being able to work as a team. And it's fun.
Guys, thank you very much. Thank you for coming.